We'll move on to public hearings. Agenda item number 5A, which is at 3850 Madera Way. It is a request for a use permit to allow an addition which increases the gross floor area by 50%, 61%, and would exceed 2,800 square feet of living area with a two-car garage per sections 12-230B1 and 12-280A3 of the San Bruno Municipal Code. Staff report, please.
Thank you and good evening. The project is a single-family addition in the Pacific Heights neighborhood. The existing house is 2 stories with an attached garage. The applicant is proposing an addition straight back on both floors of the existing home. The lot size is quite large at 8,389 square feet. The proposed floor area is 3,366 square feet, which results in a 0.51 floor area ratio. The project requires a use permit because it exceeds the 50% expansion thresholds and also proposes over 2,800 square feet of living space with a 2-car garage. It does comply with all the other development standards of the municipal code. In terms of design, staff finds that the project is consistent with the design guidelines. The existing house, as well as the surrounding neighborhood, consists mainly of houses that have a very simple building form, so kind of a simple structure, mostly with gable roofs that run parallel to the street and not very steep pitch roofs. This project complements that by maintaining the front elevation of the house. It also maintains the existing height of only 18 feet and also maintains that basic massing by having the project go straight back to the rear. All of the exterior materials would match the existing. The applicant has also indicated that they wish to reuse some of the existing windows for cost savings as well as green building measures. And so staff would suggest that we allow them a little bit of flexibility in seeing what windows would still be usable based on some of that feedback we received at the Architectural Review Committee about windows. Staff sent a courtesy notice on March 30th, and we did receive 1 phone call. A neighbor was concerned that the project was too big and could block her view. However, she declined to meet with staff. We asked if she would like to meet to review the plans and see if we could mitigate any of her concerns. She indicated that she wasn't able to do that, but did want her concerns reflected into the record. After mailing the legal notice, we received another phone call from a different neighbor. However, she really just needed a clarification on the plans in terms of how the plans were read. And so I walked through that with her, and she said that she understands the project and does not oppose the project. Staff has applied the standard conditions of approval to the project, but I would like to point out one unique condition, and that's number 10. The lower level of this house has quite a bit of storage area, and that storage area is included in the floor area calculation as prescribed in the municipal code, so the portions that have the ceiling height are included in the FAR. So if the owners elect to finish this area in the future, they will need a building permit to do so. So condition of approval number 10 addresses that possible future condition. So staff would recommend approval of the project with the conditions in the staff report, and I would be happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, Laura. Are there any questions for staff?
Through the chair.
Commissioner?
Just in regard to the comment that you got from the citizen, I see the floor area ratio that's proposed is 5.51, and the zoning requirements allow up to 0.55, so this falls well below that threshold. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So it even though she may think it's a little bit large, technically it does fit the zoning requirements.
It's within the development standards.
Thank
correct.
you.
Through the chair.
Commissioner?
With that condition 10 that you included, shouldn't we maybe have an asterisk on the gross floor area? You know, so if in the future someone's just reading the chart and doesn't read all the conditions, they can see that the gross floor area is really not 3366. Isn't that what you were kind of explaining? That's not really 3366?
It is in terms of a technical interpretation of the code. They intend to use it as storage area, but because it has the ceiling height of 7 feet 6 inches, it is included in the floor area calculation.
And how much roughly is the storage area? Do you know?
I don't know off the top of my head. I would be happy to calculate it, and I don't know if you'd like to hear from the
I was
applicant.
just thinking if we
I can
put
get
like an
back to you.
asterisk there saying that, you know, 700 square feet, I mean, just saying, pick a number, 700 square feet divided into storage area, just for future reference if we ever have to fall back on it for comparison purposes.
Okay, so Director just said that it's about 800 square feet, and we'd be happy to amend that condition so it provides clarification.
Thank you. Any other questions for staff? Thanks. Is the applicant present? Could you take the podium, state your name and your street address, and tell us about your project?
My name is Bob Bowles. I'm with Beausoleil Architects of San Francisco, 745 Faxon Avenue, San Francisco. My client, Bob Rebus, is there. If you want to raise your hand, he's happy to talk also. I was trying to figure out exactly what the area of that storeroom is, or I should say the storage space that counts as potential habitable space. It's about 440 square feet. So all of the living space is on the second floor where all of the living space is now. The reason we have this big crawl space is simply because of the topography of the land and the shape of the existing building. Because we have that space, it'll be enclosed. The owners intend to use it for storage and/or for play space for their kids or whatever. It won't be heated space. It's got a high enough ceiling that potentially sometime in the future they might want to fix it up, but they don't have any definite plans to do that now. So it's just there because it's there. If the land wasn't shaped that way, they wouldn't have had that and didn't really want it. So the owners wanted a very simple, straightforward project. And that's the nature of the house, so I think the design reflects that. We do intend to make it as green as we can within economic reason. We plan to put pre-plummet for solar water heating and put in conduit for future photovoltaics, and reuse as many windows as we can. Put in the minimal, more than the minimal amount of insulation and so forth. But basically, it's just a very simple addition to the house that will help them with their family. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to take them.
Any questions for the applicant? I actually have a couple of them. My questions come from the fact that I own a house with the same floor plan, which is in the middle of construction. So, two issues that I see that you will have to deal with, and it may cause you to come back to an ARC review meeting. One of them is the roof, the dual roof you have in the back. This is a pre-truss, a truss roof, and therefore there are no load-bearing walls interior. They're all exterior walls that are carrying the weight, and you are removing a portion of that exterior wall, which would need to be hung off, and the new roofs will have to be installed. What was your reasoning behind putting two smaller pitched roofs in the back, as opposed to tearing that roof apart completely and redesigning it?
Well, tearing off the entire roof, including the existing house, we didn't think that was something we wanted to spend the money on. The reason for the dual roof is we just like the looks of it, and it kept the profile very low. But I think we can put a beam across the back where we're taking out the wall that'll support the old trusses and the new roof both without affecting the structural strength of the trusses.
Yep, and you'll have to do that. The beam is the only thing that's going to hold it up. The second issue I have is that retaining wall. It's not really an issue, it's just a concern that I have for you. The retaining wall, that it's between the storage room and the crawl space. There's a wall that exists there already, or they're basically posts right now. Are you planning on building that into a retaining wall, or what's the intent
This
there?
is in the existing part of the house?
In the existing part of the house. What's the intent there?
There's a 2-foot-high stem wall
Mhm.
with posts on top of that that are
Mhm.
about 5.5 or 6 feet tall. So
Is-
that
do you-
that area we're not doing anything with. It's existing to remain as is.
Okay. The issue that I had with my project is that water seeps over that and gets into the house. So you may have to employ some mitigative measures while you're digging on the backside in order to drain that water. And that's a caution for you for
Okay.
extra design.
Thanks.
Just
The,
let
o-
you know.
the owners have some of that problem now. They have a sump and a sump pump in the front, but we hope to have some of that fixed during construction.
Okay. As you implement your green features, that might be something that you can tap into, is you reusing that water supply. Just pointing it out there. That's what I'm doing.
Great.
Are there any questions? Any other questions? You can take a seat. Are there any members of public that have comments on this project? Seeing none, public comment is open and closed.
Through-
City staff
Through the chair.
yes,
Can I make a motion?
yes.
I move the planning commission approve use permit 12-3 based on finding of fact 1 through 7, subject to conditions of approval 1 through 25.
Second?
There's a motion and a second. There's no more discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any noes or abstentions? Seeing none. The item is approved and there's a 10-day appeal period?
Correct.
Great.